Ladies and gentlemen, I am SidAlpha, and I probably shouldn't be using my YouTube channel for this because I already released a video today, and this will most likely get the YouTube AI overlords angry with me, but the scope of what has been happening dictates that I continue on nonetheless. Well, what has been happening has been a deluge of nonsense on social media as a result of a statement I made on Twitter. This was in reaction to a recent Forbes article that was released that served as a hit piece to malign Totalbiscuit and to try and paint him as something that he wasn't. Now, I posted the following in a twit-longer statement just a couple of minutes ago, but given the nature of what has been happening, I feel that what I wrote should be heard by my viewer base as opposed to just those that follow me on Twitter. So, on that note, the following is what I wrote in that twit-longer posting. I've been getting a large number of well-meaning people with admittedly good intentions that have been extremely worried about my statements that I was joining Gamergate. Let me be clear, that was hyperbole. I was making a statement designed specifically to rail against the anti-GG and SJW-leaning individuals responsible for the Forbes hit piece written about Totalbiscuit, and the followers of Sarkeesian that seem to be so self-absorbed they're incapable of even listening to any fact-based arguments without calling their opposition every hateful name in the book out of a desire to silence them and maintain the inviolate nature of their self-imposed echo chamber. They, of course, do that out of a desire to force their opposition to react from a place of emotion. I know this tactic full well and was quite readily prepared for it. They did come at me as hard as they could, but they weren't able to get the rise out of me that they thought they would be able to do while calling me every name in the SJW lexicon excepting Hitler and Nazi. The fact of the matter is this: all I stand for, all I've ever stood for, was ethics and consumer advocacy within the games industry. I don't care whether it be within the realms of journalism, games developers, publishers, or critics. If it's something laudable, then it should be signal boosted so everyone can benefit from something positive. If it's something anti-consumer in nature or someone or something acting in a duplicitous or overly greedy manner, it deserves to be drug out into the light of day and shown for what it truly is. This is the nature of the games industry in which we are all a part, and both of those ends of the candle serve to help light the way to both curb the excesses of the industry and to help inform gamers in general so they can make their purchasing decisions with the increased buying power that knowledge provides. Once or twice I even called out a gaming community for bad behavior that was a detriment to everyone. In all honesty, I don't care about Gamergate. I don't care about anti-GG or Anita Sarkeesian or Zoe Quinn or Kotaku in Action or any of the rest of them. I don't care about Polygon, Kotaku, Rock Paper Shotgun, Forbes, IGN, or any of the other traditional games media sites. I care about them about as much as I care about Electronic Arts, Activision Blizzard, or even Digital Homicide. They're all either a meme or a tool to be used. Sometimes the tool breaks and you need to whack it against the table, as I plan to do with the Forbes article that deliberately spread misinformation about Totalbiscuit. Now, I'll admit, I was angry. I freely admit that. Will I recant anything that I've said over the past couple of days? Not really, no. I made a statement in order to show just how vitriolic and instantaneous the backlash from the camp of the far left would be if someone like me was shown to not be under their thumb. You see, they are perfectly fine when they think you're someone that can either be controlled or manipulated. This is what most people tend to refer to as drinking the Kool-Aid. Oh, they'll accept giving you a little wiggle room, expressing their disappointment every time you say or do something that doesn't fit with a party line. Every single time one tries to deviate from the narrative that they have put forth, the more tolerant among them will follow that same pattern of behavior. The further and further you get from what they deem to be an acceptable way of thinking, the more vitriolic the response. But there is one very common factor that a great many people seem to be forgetting. These people don't have nearly as much power as they think they do. Oh, they have influence within some select circles, and because of my actions and statements in recent years, I fully expect I will never receive a review code for a AAA game ever again for as long as I live, nor will I be credited as a source of information in any articles written by sites like Kotaku or Polygon. Not now that they know beyond a shadow of a doubt that I'm not their man. They can rail all they want. They can do their best to try and freeze me out. That's fine. You see, these people, the one that wrote the article about Totalbiscuit, the ones that came after me, calling me all manner of unsavory things, the ones that hate anything that doesn't conform to the way they feel reality should be, they operate from a platform of fear. They operate using not only a mob mentality, but a mob brutality, where they will stand hand in hand trying to kick you down as hard as they can, all the while decrying you as the monster and that they are defending themselves from some form of violence or aggression that patently does not exist. They will continue to malign me, and I will continue, as I have these past few days, to respond with a reason that they have been as yet incapable of expressing. You see, if you look back through my career on YouTube as a games critic or pundit, you'll notice a very common thread. I'm a bit of a fighter. I'm argumentative, I'm opinionated, I'm contrarian, and I'm smarter than the average bear. I am, frankly, most at home when I am in conflict, where the vast majority of my opposition to date has decided to simply block me and retreat back, rarely offering up more than insults. And that's okay too, because while I may be all of those things that I just said, I'm also generally somewhat lazy, and I don't mind not having to deal with a protracted battle with someone I've never met before in my life and will most likely never see again for the remainder of my days. They have painted Gamergate as a hate campaign. I find it ironic that a movement that started out and battled against unethical actions and behaviors within games journalism has been so systematically painted as this hideous beast by those same journalistic entities that it was fighting against. But to my mind, the whole battle that took place matters very little to me in the grand scheme of things. And as I said, both sides are just tools for me to use as I continue on, as I always have. Joining Gamergate was nothing more than a if A equals B then C statement. Some, however, have taken it very seriously and even literally and are either concerned or angry. Don't be. You see, unlike many others, I don't need to align myself with any form of movement or group. Why would I? If I did that, then I would be beholden to and would ultimately have to answer for the tenets laid down by some other person or group. Why would I do that to myself or those that follow my channel? Now, I've always gotten by because I'm very much my own person. I've always spoken my mind. I've always done what I believe to be right, even if it meant that either I or my channel would suffer as a result. To align myself with a group would be no better than to bow down and drink the Kool-Aid for all the reasons that I've just discussed. Now, I've had to repeat myself a few times these past couple of days in order to reiterate one certain fact. I will not capitulate, nor will I stand by while a man I greatly respected is maligned and his legacy dashed on the rocks because of the many who were too cowardly to try to stand up to him while he was still alive and are now attempting to tear him down only after he is no longer capable of defending himself. Well, guess what? I'm still here, just like a great many other people are. I will gladly pick up that torch that he laid down and continue on just as I always have. My voice may not be as loud or as British, and I still have a lot to learn, but I will continue to do my part to the best of my ability. And for all of those that tried to shout me down and bully me into conforming, remember this: I don't bow down.